Hey everyone, Paul here from G-Tock. Today I'm going to show you how to use your Frogman GWF-A1000 or any other analog Frogman without the app. Now sure, using the app does make things easier, but sometimes it's just nice to know how to use the watch on its own. The lack of digital screen can make it feel a bit tricky at first, but honestly, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. Now before we get into the more fun stuff like features and settings, let's get familiar with the watch itself. Starting with a button layout. Top left, A. This is for shifting the hands out of the way, and I absolutely love this feature. Casio, if you're listening, this feature should be on every analog and Anadigi model. It's fantastic. Top right, B, that's your light button. Bottom left, C, this is your mode button, and bottom right, D, is used to start and stop functions like the stopwatch. Just remember A, B, C, D, starting from top left to bottom right. Now let's take a look at what's going on with the watch face. The small dial on the right tells you a few things. Day of the week, whether it's Daylight Saving Time DST or Standard Saving Time STD. You've also got the tide level info up on the right, and the mode indicators ST, TR, AL for stopwatch, timer and alarm, and in dive mode the hand points to D for dive. There's a pretty impressive amount of information packed into that little dial. Now over on the left, that small dial with the small hour and minute hand shows your world time. Mine's set to Miami as we're going on a cruise soon. You'll also see the little AP, which shows whether it's AM or PM in that time zone. Now the small 24-hour dial shows the current local time in 24-hour format. Now a quick tip, just double the number to get the hour. So if it's pointing to 3, it's 6 AM. If it's pointing to 9, it's 1800 hours, so 6 PM, and so on. The main hands, the hour, minute, second, are your local time. On the left side, you'll notice Y and N, and this shows the result of the last multiband 6 reception, or whether it's connected to the app. You'll also notice the on and off, and this shows whether the alarm is on or off. Now from here, in the calendar mode, you can press D, and the second hand will point to Y or N, and if you're connected to the app, it'll show if you're paired, and if not, it'll tell you whether the last multiband 6 sync was successful. Right then, let's jump in and look at these modes. So press the mode button C once, and it'll put you into tide mode. The right hand dial shows you the current tide level at the selected port. L is for low tide and H is for high tide, and the world time dial will show you the time at your selected port. If you haven't selected a tide port yet, you can do that from the Casio Watches app. Simply open the app, choose your watch, scroll down to tide port, find your location and pick the nearest port. Once you're done, tap send setting to watch and you're all sorted. Find your location and pick the nearest port. Once you're done, tap send setting to watch and you're all sorted. Quick side note for those that aren't familiar with tides, high tide is when the water's in and low tide is when the water's out and you can see more of the beach basically. If the high time for whatever reason looks off, no problem, you can set this from here. So whilst in tide mode, you pull the crown out to the first position. Now the small hour and minute hand will move to the set high tide time. That's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? High tide time. Turn the crown to adjust and then push it back in. From here, press C again and it'll take us into stopwatch mode. Now the main second hand counts the seconds, and over on the world time, the dual time, the small hour and minute hand will measure hours and minutes. And from here in the stopwatch mode, you can measure up to 24 hours. Now the AM PM indicator will show A for the first 12 hours and P for the second 12. To start and stop the stopwatch, press D. And you can start and stop the stopwatch as many times as you like, and to reset, press A. And if you leave the stopwatch mode at any time, it does keep running in the background, which is pretty handy. Next up, press C again and it'll take us into timer mode. Now this works in a similar way to stopwatch mode, except we're counting down rather than up. So the main second hand counts down, the small dial counts the minutes and hours, and again A or P shows which 12-hour range you're in. To set the timer, pull the crown out to the first position, Turn the crown to set your countdown time, e.g. 10 minutes, and press D to start and stop the timer, and A to reset. You'll notice as it's counting down, the second hand moves backwards, which is quite a nice touch. And yes, just like the stopwatch, it'll carry on in the background. Right, now press C again and it'll take us into alarm mode. Now the small hand will show the set alarm time, and the second hand will show whether the alarm is on or off. To set the alarm time, pull the crown out to the first position and rotate. Just a note that in any of these modes where you're using the crown to change the time, you can do a quick turn and it'll auto advance, and to stop it, you can turn it in either direction. Keep an eye on that AM indicator when setting the alarm. Last thing that you want is to set the alarm for 5 AM by mistake. Once you're happy with the time, push the crown in, and then you can press D to toggle the alarm on and off. Now press C once more and we're back into calendar mode. Now from here, you can actually set the time and date manually, though in most cases you won't need to. Either multiband 6 or the app is going to keep the time nice and accurate for you. But if for some reason you want to set the time manually, you can do this by pulling the crown out to the second position. Initially, the second hand will point to the current time zone offset. So what this means is if it was pointing to 5 for 5 minutes, it would be equal to +5 time zone. If it was pointing to 11, then that would be -5, and so on and so forth. And you can turn the crown from here to change that time zone as well if you wanted to. Now if you hold C for a second, the second hand will go to 12 o'clock. From here you can set the minutes, and then pressing C again will allow you to set the hours. Pressing it again will allow you to set the year. You'll do this in tens and then ones. So 2 and then 5 would be 2025. Now pressing it again will allow you to set the month. So 1 is January, 2 is February, 3 is March, you get the idea. And then press it once more for the day. When changing the day, you'll notice that the mode hand will spin super quickly. From calendar mode, you can also set or switch the local time and world time. You can do this by holding down B for 3 seconds. This is really handy if you're traveling a lot. Now, I know we haven't explored dive mode, and I will cover that in a separate video, but there's quite a lot to get into, and I think it probably bore the socks off of most of you because, like me, you probably don't use the watch for diving. But hopefully this has helped you get a solid understanding of the basics of how to use your Analogue Frogman without the app. And if you found this video useful, give it a like, hit subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss any future G-Shock unboxings, reviews, and mods. Thanks for watching, I'm Paul from G-Tock, and I'll catch you in the next one.